Are you an empath who feels drained, depleted, and too sensitive for the world? It really doesn't have to be this way, gorgeous. Today, we're exploring empathy fatigue and how to reclaim your natural empathy as the superpower it truly is. And this was something incredibly pivotal in my own journey from burnout to bliss. Stay tuned. Are you a big-hearted, ambitious woman feeling completely fried by overwhelm and burnout? Do you crave a life of purpose and joy but feel stuck in a cycle of stress and exhaustion? Welcome to Burnout to Bliss, the podcast that empowers you to finally break free, reconnect with yourself, and create a life you absolutely love on your own terms. I'm Dr. Fee, and I'm passionate about helping women like you pour love into themselves first so they can actually enjoy their success and embrace their bliss. So get ready to expand your life beyond what you thought was possible in healing, love, leadership, success, purpose, and wealth. Welcome to today's episode, gorgeous. We are diving into something really, really close to my heart today, and it's all about how to stop empathy from draining you and reclaim it as the superpower it truly is, because it is a superpower. But have you ever felt like empathy just plain sucks? Like you're giving and you're taking on all of the pain and the stress of the people around you, and all you're left with is this heavy, sluggish, drained feeling. And I call it feeling like limp lettuce, lettuce that's been in the fridge for too long. Someone's forgotten about it. It's in the back of the fridge and you pull it out and it's just wilted. It's limp. It's like there's no life force left in it. I've been there too, right in the depths of my own personal burnout. I got to a point where I remember thinking, oh my God, empathy sucks. And I felt too sensitive for the world, and I wanted to pull away and I wanted to hide under a rock. But life just doesn't give you that opportunity, does it? Right after volunteering in Africa, where I had the most rewarding but challenging experience, I cared for these beautiful children in a remote hospital in Tanzania. And after that, I came home not knowing how to handle my experience there. And I was just, how I can best describe it is that I was carrying bagfuls of emotion, shame and disappointment and anger and frustration and blame. And I didn't know how to handle that. And I really didn't know what was going on, except that I just didn't feel good, right? I felt really drained. I felt really depleted. I was losing myself. So I pushed that down even further to keep going, and I got really, really busy. And I was so excited to start my new job at Royal Darwin Hospital in Northern Territory, working in Indigenous health. And my focus was to upskill and keep on that path of international aid. But I was running on fumes. And then there came this moment, and I remember it. I was in ICU as a junior doctor. And there was this tiny, precious baby who was just 2 months old, battling whooping cough. It was heartbreaking to witness. It was heartbreaking for the family, but also for the team, everyone included. And my colleagues were so impacted by this experience. But I noticed, instead of actually feeling that familiar wave of empathy and feeling shaken by it, I felt closed off, shut down. I felt even a little angry. I heard myself say, kids in Africa die every single day, and who gives a damn about them? Like, this is my self-talk and what I was witnessing, and it scared me. And simply it was because I just had nothing. I had nothing left to give. It was a moment where I remember just catching myself in this experience and just like, oh my gosh, like, what's happened? How did I end up here? And that's when I realized I was experiencing full on empathy fatigue. Like if you can imagine, like a fuel gauge on a car, I was deep in red, like I was below the empty line. And it's something I see really, really often in my clients, especially the amazing healers out there, the doctors, the nurses, the psychologists, the teachers, even. But, it's not just them, it's anyone who pours their heart into their work, into caring for others. And it's bound to take a toll. And it's not always as intense as what I've described. Sometimes it's just this low level empathy fatigue. And, that feeling of having little left to give, to get excited about, your kid's newest dinosaur obsession. Like, even though you want to be that lit up, fun mama, you're just like, oh my gosh, I just don't have the capacity to get engaged or excited or to give to your little one, to your love, right? Or maybe it's, you find yourself tuning out when your partner starts in on how frustrating his boss is. And because, really you just get to the point where it's, honey, I've just reached my limit, I've reached my limit. There's only so much that I can care about right now. And I've hit that limit. I've hit that ceiling. So, to better understand empathy fatigue, I want you to understand that it's like being a sponge and you're constantly just soaking up everyone else's emotions, their stress, their sadness, their anxiety. It all just seeps in. And at first, you probably don't even realize it's happening because it's just you. It's just your nature. You're just being your beautiful, empathetic self. But over time, that sponge gets really heavy. It can get really waterlogged, okay, or really just full of a lot of brown, stinky, old, stagnant water. Eventually, it just can't hold anymore. You're full up, you're congested, you're waterlogged, and it's literally like you're carrying all of the pain for other people, not just in your life now, but from years, a cumulative effect, right? And I've had experiences where I've come together. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've caught up with friends, patients, people in my life, strangers. And, it's just, I have an open heart. I love to love and I hold space for them. And I felt their feelings so deeply, most of the time, even more so than them. Like, I can actually perceive what they're really feeling more than what they can. And they can leave feeling so relieved. They've just released it, they've just let it go. And I'm left carrying the weight of it. Okay. And this was a huge factor in my burnout. It was something that, really contributed to why I spiraled as a junior doctor working in a hospital. Just even entering into that environment, you can really feel different when you're on different wards, different roles. And without knowing it, because I wasn't conscious of this, it's what really set me on that path of spiraling into empathy fatigue. So, how do you know if you're caught in the same trap? Well, it can show up in so many different ways, okay? And some of the telltale signs is that you're just emotionally wiped out all of the time, like crawl into the bed and hide from the world type exhausted. Even if you've technically gotten enough sleep or you're doing all the right things, okay, it's just that on a deeper level, there's a fatigue or a congestion or a sluggishness or a heaviness there. And anytime you feel, yeah, you're back on track, something happens. You might connect with another person or step into an environment that is quite dirty, shall we say, like in terms of lots of emotional distress, such as a hospital as an example. Not obviously on a physical level, they do all the things to clean it, but you're showing up to a place where there is a lot of emotions just flying around. We're talking about life or death. This is really, often an environment where tricky conversations and decisions have to be made. So that's one way. Another is that you just can't seem to muster up the energy to care. It's just like I did, It's not just about strangers or world's events, like you just want to tune out on what's happening in the world. It's like for the people you love the most, your partner, your kids, your closest friends, your family, you just don't have it in you. You may find yourself getting more irritable. You might get more impatient than usual. Little things that wouldn't normally bother you suddenly feel like, it's a huge burden. It's almost like you're waiting for the straw that breaks the camel's back. And so to cope, you withdraw. You feel like maybe you're already in a pattern where you make excuses to avoid making plans, even with people you genuinely enjoy spending time with, because you just don't know if you have the capacity or if you'll have the capacity at that time. And here's a big point: you might be experiencing physical symptoms like chronic headaches, chronic digestive issues, chronic insomnia, sleep troubles, right? Because our minds and our bodies are deeply connected. So it's no surprise that emotional overload or an energetic overload can manifest in physical ways. Okay. And again, I'm sharing this from my experience of being a holistic doctor, now become a transformation coach because of my own journey from burnout, but also supporting hundreds of patients to really overcome some of the most complex chronic symptoms, unexplained symptoms. And some people who you listen to the huge list of symptoms that normally would get dismissed by other experts and professionals, like, oh, it's all normal, there's nothing to be done. But you like listening to this and go, wow, you're just incredibly sensitive. And they're sensitive to chemicals, they're sensitive to environments, they're sensitive to other people. If you just say to them, like, oh, it feels like you're a sensitive soul, like like a green tree frog living in the world and taking on so much. They get it, they live it, they feel it on a level that it makes so much sense to them. And then I get to have this conversation with them. And from there, then the question then becomes, well, what can we do about it? But before I get to that, does any of that sound familiar to you? Right? And if so, you're definitely not alone, I think. And if not you, I'm sure your children, you might have children who are just sensitive, have special needs, have all the diagnoses, have all the things. But at the core of it, you're just like, you know what? Like, I've noticed how empathetic my son, for instance, Jarvis, my eldest son, is deeply, deeply in tune, high empath. He's highly sensitive to the world around him. It is a gift, but I have had to spend energy and focus in supporting him to really manage it. Okay. Because I feel like it was something that contributed to why he got sick at a young age, around the age of 3. Now, here's the thing, gorgeous, like there's a science to this too. It's not just fluff and woo. Our brains are naturally wired for connection, and we have these incredible things called mirror neurons, and that's what scientists believe help us understand each other's actions. It's why, my son walks very much the same as my husband. You see the same mannerisms and posture. Our kids can have the same posture as we do, but we also believe that it's what helps us to really understand each other's emotions. Okay. But there are these complex neurological pathways in place that really supports us in having empathy. And so here's the thing: there's a reason why we have an empathetic nature. There's reasons why we have natural empathy. Okay. It's not a mistake that we're born with it or that some of us have more of it than others. And without healthy boundaries, it can lead to overload. And so it is important that we have this discussion so that we can actually focus on, well, what needs to happen. So this is where we need to actually understand that it goes beyond just the mental and emotional level. It's important. Empathy fatigue, how we think and the people we surround ourselves and the depth of emotions that we encounter in our experiences, it's important, but it's not just a head thing. It's a full body experience. Okay. So it is about recognizing that we have an energy body. We are vibrational beings, and that this needs just as much as care and attention as our physical body. It's what I refer to as etheric hygiene, our energy hygiene. And like, you probably employ certain self-care techniques to help you on that energetic level, whether you attend a yoga class or you go for a dip in the ocean. I mean, go into salt water. It's not just the freshness and the cold that helps you to feel alive. It's also that, that supports you on an etheric or energetic level. but it's also, its influence. It's really important to understand our energy body. And this is a complex conversation, and it's a big one to be having. It's influenced by how we nourish ourselves. So the things that support us on a physical level supports us on an energetic level as well, or derails us on an energetic level. The thoughts and the feelings we have are intimately related to how our personal energy is bound or free for creation. It's either bound in the past and hurt, and I've spoken about this before in other episodes. It's important that we feel our feelings, that it doesn't get stuck or congested, because if it is, it's within our personal energy. We only have so much of that. And so this can then impact us on a physical level, because this is the interplay between all these different elements of ourselves. We're multidimensional in nature. And in turn, our experiences in life will influence us on an energetic level, but so too our energetic body. Our energy will influence how we experience life, our reality of life. So this is really, really important. And this is honestly what blew my mind away. So the answer to overcoming empathy fatigue and stepping into your true power as an empath resides in embracing this wholeness. Okay, it's not just focusing on one level, but on all of it, about really knowing who you are and learning to discern where you're at on an energetic level, on an emotional level, where you're at with your mind, utilizing it as a tool to support you, because our mind, let's face it, makes up a whole, or we're meaning-making machines, and it can either support us or derail us. We're either resourceful or unresourceful. We're kind to ourselves or we're unkind to ourselves. But same too with learning to tune into your energy, to understand the language of our emotions and to create a life that honors all of who you are is critical as an empath. And for me, like as I just shared, like this understanding came to me in the most unexpected way. And it was as a conventional doctor. As I shared, like the height of my burnout was when I was working in ICU up in Darwin Hospital after doing a volunteer stint in Africa. And I wasn't looking for this. I just knew something had to change. And in fact, when my sister came to me and said, "Hey, Fee, I'm going to get you booked in for an energy healing session," I completely dissed her. I was like, "Oh my God, you're such a hippie. No way, I'm not into that woo." And I sort of rejected her, but then I kind of came back a couple of days later and go, well, what else is there? All right, I'm willing to give this a go. If I trusted her, and that was the thing. I trusted her. She was a very smart, intelligent woman. She was, first class honors in her engineering and all of that. And here she is talking to me about energy healing. All right, I'll give it a go. And it was an experience where I went in feeling like limp lettuce, and I came out feeling like my entire being could breathe again, like on a deep level. And it was so powerful. It completely blew my mind. Like it left me with such a question, like, what the hell? What just happened? It completely created a paradigm shift for me, because up until that stage, like I identified so closely with being a doctor in conventional medicine and that black and white thinking, and now I've just stepped into the unknown. And so I had to understand, I had to understand what had happened. Like, how could I feel so insanely different in just one session? And it sparked this deep commitment in me to learning everything I could about healing. And that's where I've got to, like, what it really is. Like, what is healing, and how can I support other women to experience what I've just tasted? And so I ended up walking that fascinating path between two worlds, embracing conventional medicine, and I did my fellowship of general practitioners. And simultaneously, I dived deep into this world of alternative, non-conventional thinking and healing. And that's how I discovered the key, like how to manage my my energy and take care of myself on a deeper level so that empathy could be the superpower it was always meant to be. And it is really an incredible gift to have, gorgeous. Like, if you're like me when I was in burnout and just thinking, God, it sucks to be so sensitive, and like I just, so much toxicity in the world, and I just got to pull back, and I just got to put up all these walls and boundaries to keep myself safe. Well, you don't end up achieving or accomplishing freedom. And most, if not all, of the women who come into my world desire freedom. Freedom within as a feeling, a lightness, a spaciousness, but freedom to say yes to the things that they want, to claim life on their own terms. So let's look at empathy as to why I call it a superpower. It helps us to unlock deep connections, heart to heart connection, that genuine understanding between two people that creates intimacy. It helps us to build that stronger, more fulfilling relationships with the people we love. Empathy is important. It helps to make us incredible listeners and communicators. Why? Because we can hear the unspoken messages. We can tune into the emotions behind the words, right? Like, to be able to discern what isn't being said and to really feel where another person is at, it is a precious gift. Okay. The other thing is, in my life, it's fueled personal growth, because when we understand other people's emotions, or we can like sense where they're at, we inevitably become more and more aware of our own. And now we can start to tune into our own feelings. And this is like a crash course in emotional intelligence. And hold on, sweetheart, because this is the most incredible journey to take from a personal development, spiritual path ahead. It's so exciting, because often that deep well of empathy, it will guide us to our true calling, and often this is in service to others, and it's what makes me the healer I am today. I'm an incredible healer. I'm so perceptive to energy. I'm so tuned into my clients and the needs and what truly is at play, that we can do laser coaching, like get to the issue, not all this fluff up here and what we think should be going. Let us analyze the pattern. Let's us talk about it up here. No, the ego might get something out of it, but what we truly desire is deep, lasting change, and that happens beyond the mind. And let's get to that part, which is often on an emotional and energetic level. And so I just wanted to finish off as well with this incredible opportunity to discover the beauty of compassion and the powerful role that it plays in life. And this is something that I support my clients with so much, is this practice of self-compassion and compassion for others, because it is so deeply healing and transformative. Now, empathy is about feeling with someone, like stepping into their shoes, and you're looking through life from the lens that they are. You're experiencing their emotions as your own, and often the barriers or the boundaries get blurred, and you blob into them, and you take on, like, you're the emotional sponge, and you take on their feelings, and before you know it, you both have got headaches, or you're feeling that heartache, or you're feeling down and depressed after you've spoken to them. Okay. Now, compassion is where we learn to feel for someone from a place of love. Love is the basis of compassion. It is where we can understand another person's pain without actually taking it on as our own burden. Now, this is different to pity, and often people get confused where they think that they're being compassionate for someone or holding compassion for someone, but actually you're pitying them. No one wants to be pitied. And so pity is something that we can really confuse with compassion and empathy. It actually comes from a place of fear. Fear is what ignites pity, and it's like, oh my gosh, I feel so sorry for them, I feel so sorry, and it creates suffering. It doesn't actually resolve it. It's not good for you, it's not good for them. And so that's just a side note, because really what I want you to walk away is understanding that the key to reclaiming you, your energy, your vitality, deep love connection, deep loving, fulfilling connections, and like being able to say yes to incredible opportunities, to be out there, show up as your best self, is really supporting yourself on every level and helping your empathetic nature, like seeing and working with empathy and getting it to a point where it's a gift. It is a gift that we need to cherish and protect. And then it becomes a superpower because it does support so much goodness in life. And so if you're ready to release that empathy overload and to really heal, to reconnect with your own incredible superpowers, not just empathy, but all the rest, to get you shining bright in the world, I'm here to guide you. I'm here for that. And so I invite you to head over into the link in my bio and book a free or apply for a free discovery call. And there's some parameters there to see if we're a good fit for that. And on that call, it's a powerful, transformative call. I'm here to hold space for you. And in that transformation comes deep, profound transformation. We're going to get so crystal clear on where you're at the moment, where you want to get to, what are some of the challenges. Often it's us. We're the ones that often block this, even though seemingly it's outside of us. It might be that we are yet to learn to implement strong boundaries or to speak up, to speak our truth, or to really break free of the people pleasing or the perfectionism, procrastination, all those patterns, those sabotage patterns that are at play that contribute to burnout. Okay. And from there, we'll get really clear as to whether or not we're a good fit. And if not, that's okay. I'm so connected to so many amazing people, and I can't wait to help you and support you with that and create a life that you truly, truly love. One where you feel free and absolutely amazing. Take care. It's been so beautiful spending this time with you. If today's episode sparked something within you, please subscribe, leave a review, and share the love. Are you done feeling overwhelmed and burnt out? If you're craving a curated, holistic framework that addresses burnout on every level, body, mind, heart, and soul, to get you claiming your life on your terms, then my Burnout to Bliss program is perfect. Apply for a free breakthrough session with my team and let's deep dive into your unique situation to help you reclaim your energy, joy, and power. Now, if you'd prefer to get a taste of what's possible, then come join our amazing Bliss Sisterhood. It's our low-cost, high-value monthly community membership, and you'll find the links to both in my bio. So stay tuned for the next episode where we'll unlock even more secrets to living a blissful life. Remember, you are powerful beyond measure. Take care.